Okay, it's 7 o'clock, and we're meeting in our regular meeting room in the Central Jury Room at the Hood County Justice Center. It is 7 o'clock on July the 12th, and the meeting is called to order. Would you stand so we can have an invocation, please? Our gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, as we come to you, we pray that you will give us the guidance, give us the wisdom to make all the decisions for the county under your direction and under your guidance, Lord. And we just want to operate totally under your will. Be with us all, Lord, as we go through this meeting. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me, please. We honor the flag of the proud country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in the pledge of Texas.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You be seated. Special presentations tonight, Bob? None tonight. Thank you. Is there any citizen that wishes to comment on any agenda item? The sheriff has papers for you to fill out. If you'd like, just raise your hand and hopefully he won't shoot you or something. I don't know. Nobody? All right. Thank y'all very much. All right. Next item is the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything off of the consent agenda?
G2, please.
G2?
Mm-hmm.
Make a motion the remainder of the consent agenda be approved as issued.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Rowan, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to approve everything on the consent agenda except item G2. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Judge, I asked for G2 to be pulled off because I see James McCausland's in the audience, and I'd like for you just to bring us up to date on what's changed on this contract as far as what we're accepting and the fact that I believe it's going to be the same price to the citizens in the county as it is, but I asked James to at least give us an update.
Judge, Commissioners, that's right. The contract was up for renewal as it is every year, and the purchasing agent had contacted ISI and requested that they contact her with their decision, and they did, and they do wish to re-up that contract. As a part of the contract, without any additional cost, I was able to negotiate with ISI the addition of accepting what we call a single stream recycling, and it's in the existing container. And whereas in the past we've only accepted plastics number 1 and number 2. We've expanded that to numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 7. We don't accept number 6 plastics because it's the styrofoams and the plastic grocery bags. Also, we're going to be able to take glass of all sorts. It's also going to just go into the mixed container. Paper products, that's phone books, newspapers, magazines, that sort of thing, as well as cardboard. If you have any questions, I can.
Do they all go in, you said, in the same containers?
It's in the same. It's in one big container, and in that single stream recycling is what we call that. And once that's full, we'll call that for a pickup, and it'll go up to what we call a MRF or a materials recovery facility up in Haltom City, and then to McKinney, either one of those that are owned by ISI. And they just separate out that stuff. They dump it, and it's automatically separated and then sent out to the respective recycling.
The main thing here, Judge, is we're starting to take glass and then more plastics, and we haven't done that in the past. So,
yeah, and I really appreciate your hard work on this. And so thank you very much, James.
motion to approve the new contract.
Motion made by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to approve G2. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8, subdivisions and plat, road ops, consider and take appropriate action to vacate abandoned Commerce Street as shown on map and plat in Thorpe Springs.
Judge Cochran, Commissioners, this is approximately 240 foot of Commerce Street that runs from the platted Clark Street back to the south to the, there it is, Lipan Highway. The two landowners on either side has petitioned the court. We've got Mr. Elliott here and Mr. Kraus here. In the February 22nd court, the court actually vacated Clark Street that run this way and this portion of Commerce. This would be the remainder of Commerce that they're asking to abandon. As in the February 22nd meeting, I still have the same statement that these roads were platted, but they never were built. Road Operation does recommend that the Commissioners Court vacate this section of Commerce Street.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Simpson, seconded by Commissioner Berry. Is there any discussion about this item? And I'll entertain a motion to, no, we got a motion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Item B is discuss and consider declaring the 612 feet by 30 feet access on Rough Creek Cemetery Road.
Judge, after the June 14th Commissioners Court, where the court directed road operations to go ahead and clear this little access road to the Rough Creek Cemetery, I spoke with the county attorney. In order to pave it, he felt, as I did, that we should come to the court and request that the court declare this access way a public way. Kelton has looked at it. He sees no problem whatsoever with it. So on his recommendation, I asked that the court declare this section of Rough Creek, which we'll call it Rough Creek Cemetery Road for the time being, that you declare it a public roadway.
That's Precinct 2, is it not?
Yes, sir, and Precinct 2.
Judge, we also received a letter from former commissioner establishing about a 18 or 20-year history of the county having previously taken care of that section of road. It had to do with access for ambulances and family members involved with funerals, which is all it's used for, that and visitation. So I make the motion we accept item B as
Second.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Roan, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to approve make a public road of the Rough Creek Cemetery Road and accept it into the county road system. Any discussion? Then all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Don. You have item number 2 is compliance and development. Set a public hearing.
Yes, sir. Requesting set a public hearing to consider and take appropriate action for the replat of 569R Oak Trail Shores, Section A, located in Precinct Number 4. Staff does recommend that the court sets a public hearing for the August 9th Commissioners Court meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Commissioner Berry and seconded by Commissioner Roan to set a public hearing for August 9th. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item B is consider and take appropriate action on the final plat of lots 1 through 5, Block 1, on the Boggs Addition located in Precinct 3.
This is a 24 6/10 of an acre tract located in Precinct 3 within the water quality district. The proposal is to subdivide this property into 5 lots, 4 of the lots being just over 4 acres, and the 5th lot just being under 7 acres. Also, within this plat, it depicts 1.2 acres that were dedicated to Hood County for Johnson Road. The surveyor, Mr. Don Hickey, is in the audience if you do have any additional questions, but staff has reviewed everything on this plat, does meet our requirements for Hood County, and staff does recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Roan to approve the final plat on lots 1 through 5, Block 1, in the Boggs Addition located in Precinct 3. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Don. This is Budget and Finance. Consider budget line item amendments for the period of June 22nd through July 5th.
Good evening, Judge and Commissioners. The first requested line item amendment on the budget is from the sheriff regarding a request to move money out of supplies and travel in the jail to purchase a new shredder. I believe the sheriff is here. Sheriff, if you'd like to address the court.
Judge, Commissioners, this is just, their shredder is old and wore out, and they go through a lot of paper. We're trying to get everything, all computerized, but we just need a new shredder back there, so ask that you approve us moving some money so we can get that purchased and get them fixed up for a few years to come. It's a heavy-duty one.
In the jail?
For the jail. We got a big one up in the front that dispatch uses all day, all the time, and then in the jail, we need a bigger, better one than they have back there right now. It's wore out.
You have a motion to approve this line item?
Well, I guess my question would be, why would we use the general budget and the general fund when we have capital money on this? I mean, it's a $4,000 expenditure. I'm just asking this question. I mean, we look at budgets and you try to pull small equipment out of these budgets so that that's why we borrow the money for Fund 55 for capital expenditures. It's a $4,000 capital expenditure. I'm just asking the question. I mean,
That's true. It is a kind of a major expense at that cost.
Is it not something we'd also devalue over time, Stan?
Not at $4,000. Our policy is that we capitalize and depreciate everything $5,000 and over. That's been the county policy for some time.
That doesn't eliminate it, though, from qualifying for as capital expense, does it?
No, not at all. But we make a distinction between capital expenditure and small equipment.
the problem I have with it is tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to be looking at budgets and taking travel money and training money and supply lines, and that's where this money's coming from. And, I mean, it's a capital item. I'm just asking the question. I'm not opposed to him buying a shredder.
I'm not either.
But
Just where it comes from.
Yeah, where we charge it.
It's certainly fair to do so. We have had a number of expenditures under $5,000 that have come from Fund 55.
Then I make a motion that we approve buying the shredder and come out of Fund 55.
Second.
Motion made by County Judge and seconded by Commissioner Roan to approve purchasing a shredder, not sweater, shredder.
you don't need a sweater, I guarantee you.
Not in this weather.
No, you don't.
And coming out of the capital Fund 55. Any discussion about this?
Only that you need to pull this then.
I'll show the revision, and we'll record it according to the court's wish.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I appreciate it. I know that money is getting tight too, so that's why we're trying to work it out of our budget. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Judge and Commissioners, the second amendment is actually it's in the personnel budget. It's under risk management, but it's from the treasurer. She has received another deficit billing from Texas Association of Counties regarding unemployment. This one would be a requirement that we move $13,445.81 out of workman's compensation into the line item for unemployment. Of course, the judge has communicated with several elected officials complaining about this circumstance. For a number of years, the county's total cost of unemployment coverage was about $30,000 to $32,000 per year. It grew to $80,000, it grew to $113,000 in a very short period of time. That line item has grown by a factor of 500% until this year. And I think that would be unsustainable if we see that kind of increases, or even if that cost continues in the future. I believe our state and our federal government really need to do as the judge suggested and find a way that this can be put on a sustainable track.
For those of you in the audience that don't know what this is about, is that the federal government has extended the unemployment to 99 weeks. And the state of Texas does not deny a claim. You go down there for being fired, being lazy, and just quitting, whatever, then they approve it. And then if you go somewhere else and work 2 weeks and you decide, well, and it still falls back on the county. It's not the last employer, it's the last employer with the most service. So we just, we're just really taking it on the head, and we wrote letters, as Stan said, down to the state, and Texas Association of Counties told Stan that they didn't think he knew what he was talking about, and he had misread. Basically, is that not true?
That was my take on it, Your Honor.
Yeah, and so once he explained it, they go, oh, you do understand. Seriously, this Commissioner's Court is very, very, very concerned with the finances of this county and the taxes that are levied on the citizens, and we're trying to do everything we can to do that, and that's part of it. So, thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I don't see any way around paying this. We have to restore the reserve to their computed level. I think we need to be extremely cautious in the future that we do everything we can to control these expenditures and keep them from getting even worse.
Does this clear us up for this fiscal year?
No.
Well, this would be to restore the reserve as of the end of the last determination, and I don't know if the treasurer put a copy of that in there, but my guess is that would be through June 30th.
But it says here, workman's comp premiums paid in full for 2011 budget. So I'm taking that to mean that this covers us through September.
Well, the premiums are paid separately from this deficit billing.
Okay.
The premiums are paid based on what we anticipate the actual expenditures will be for salaries. And so we do pay a small percentage point of premiums, but then periodically, say at the end of each quarter, tax tells us that our reserve balance is in a deficit position according to their computation. And then they demand that we restore that balance. Of course, we participate in a risk pool with all of the counties who participate in this program.
Move that we move the money from workman's comp insurance to unemployment.
Second.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Berry, to move the money from workman's comp into unemployment. Any discussion?
You don't have time for it.
All right. Let's call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank y'all very much. Stan, the next thing.
Judge and Commissioners, the district clerk has asked for a $2,000 transfer from supplies into small equipment and furniture. I didn't see whether Tony is here.
She's here.
Tona, would you like to address the court?
To purchase a new LaserJet printer. IT has asked me to get rid of the old, antiquated, big, huge green bar printer, and it's a way of phasing it out. Actually, it prints mainly our jury summons, and our jury summons are now going to a laser print instead of a continuous feed, and it's just one step closer to getting rid of it. And if I get my computer out front for the public to access, then we don't have to print all of our huge indexes on green bar paper. So that's what it's for. And I'll be glad for you to take that out of Fund 55.
Any questions for the district clerk? I'll entertain a motion to approve this line item transfer.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Roan, to approve the transfer of $2,000 from supplies into small equipment so that the district clerk can become a little more modern. Any discussion?
The only reason I brought it up on the sheriff a while ago is this tomorrow and Thursday will be a hot topic. When you have the supplies that we keep moving money out of supply lines and out of travel, these next year everyone will have to ask for Fund 55 money or capital expenditures. The only reason I brought it up.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? We have a motion by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Roan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Tona.
Judge, the last request for budget amendment is from Jackie Solomon, and his is for the computer department. Jackie?
Thank you for allowing that last item to go through, because those printers that we have, there was only approximately, I think we have 2 of those and 1 that's not used any longer already of those printers, and they're getting so old, they're getting hard to find people to even work on them. So it's really good that we're moving forward, and this can be used for other systems besides our net data system. So I appreciate that, Commissioners and Judge. This is asking that we move money from one line to another. Last year when we did our budget, we set up funds to do certain projects, and at the time we did not have a really good way of dropping these into a place that it looked like it was falling into the right area. Stan put it into the line item that they thought it should fall under. We're getting to the point where we're trying to do these projects is it's really under the wrong line item. So we're asking that we just move this laterally to the other line item so that we can make those expenditures appropriately. And in this year's budget, we're trying to realign our funds and the way that our line items are adjusted so that it better reflects what we're trying to do in IT and what that money is actually going for each time, because before it was really kind of in a general, everything was spoken to in a general sense, and we're trying to be a little bit more specific on what we're trying to tell the court and of course the citizens of the county of what we're doing with the money and how we're putting it out.
You're not spending money, Jackie, you're just reclassifying it into different budget line items to be specific. Motion approved.
Second.
Well, I have a motion made by Commissioner Berry and seconded by Commissioner Simpson to approve this line item. Is there any discussion? Then all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next item is payment of bills.
Judge and Commissioner, the total bills for your consideration come to $345,740.99. Some of the larger items, we've got ACPAC Inc., Road Ops Materials for $17,798.94. There are attorney fees and court reporters and visiting judges to be paid $19,715. To Ben E. Keith for jail groceries, $10,781.47. To the City of Granbury for utilities, $31,214.63. There's an internal transfer from the general fund to Fund 112, which is an accounting accommodation for the indigent defense attorney fees. That's not an additional expense, it's just a transfer to cover the accounting, and it's $36,752.50. Road Ops Materials from Ergon Asphalt and Emulsion, $15,645.70. From the Hood County Sheriff to transfer in money from Fund 61, which is the Abandoned Vehicle Fund, $15,417. That's for expenditures that the sheriff has deemed appropriate. Road Ops Materials from Northeastern Asphalt Incorporated, $21,611.52. To the Texas Association of Counties for unemployment insurance coverage. That was a topic we discussed earlier. This expenditure is $23,917.54. And to the Texas Association of Counties for casualty insurance premiums on the risk coverage for the upcoming year, $84,189. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have. I've provided the court with
business will start an insurance company.
Payment vouchers for each one of these.
The only question I've got a ticket here for some T-shirts that were bought by JP 1 and 2, and it looked like it coming out of supplies, and it's some shirts. I don't feel like we need to pay them.
Well, the judge mentioned this, and I looked back into that after he brought it to my attention, and I have not seen the shirts, but I believe it is for Judge Castillo's office. The vendor is JPCA of Texas.
Justice of the Peace and Constable Association.
I have not seen the shirts. I don't know what is embroidered on the shirts. I don't know if it says Hood County.
Well, I don't know why those offices have to have shirts to do their job. I mean, you're fixing to get into an internal revenue issue where we're supplying uniforms for folks that are be taxable income. Is that not correct, Stan?
I agree, Commissioner. I think we really need to deal with that in depth because I have seen some things like, jeans and hats and shirts that if an IRS agent were to come in here, they would say that's taxable and we would have to put it on the employee's W-2. So at a minimum, I believe we need careful consideration to make sure that all of these type items are properly addressed.
Well, the second part of that equation is that's not a supply item. There is a uniform clothing allowance budget code that's not available in his budget.
I don't believe he does have that in the budget. Supplies is a very broad category. And once again, I don't know the exact purpose for this purchase, but it's certainly up to the court.
He's not here to answer the question, so I'm not going to I'm not going to ratify that bill. I move that we ratify all the other bills on
One more.
Commissioner Berry, question. Is the policy committee looking into this so we can make sure we're in line with federal law on it?
Well, we didn't realize until the judge got this PO to sign, and then we started realizing, we looking around, that Commissioner Simpson's right, it's not a supply. We have a lot of departments that are doing this, and then the question comes up, people are wearing county shirts, they're buying a lot of them themselves.
Right.
But some of these office folks are not required, such as a sheriff's department or fire marshal's office or road ops or facility maintenance, they're required to have a shirt.
Yeah, but that's under the uniform code. So.
We agree, so it'll be something we need to take up and discuss at budget tomorrow and Thursday. But I have another question before you may. I want to go to the Verizon bill, the wireless bill. When we talked to you, I talked to you earlier in the week or last week, it was a lot of finger pointing. Jackie's sitting here and Brian's here. Are we any farther down the road than that? I saw an email from the fire marshal this afternoon, but I want to know where we're at on these air cards.
I have a project in front of me. I'm going to have to go back honestly to the beginning of the year and identify every line item, carry it back to the exact general ledger code where it belongs. When the fire marshal came to my office yesterday, he pointed out a couple of mistakes that I have made on allocating some of those charges. And if I see mistakes like that, I believe it's incumbent on me to go back and examine it from the beginning. I will do that. I have promised to give Brian an accounting of that, and I'll make that available to every member of the court. I'll get it done.
Well, I don't blame just you, Stan. I think that I'd like to hear from the fire marshal. I'd like to hear where we're at on billing these back to the fire departments, more than 2 cards. I'd like to hear from Brian on that. Because that was when we set this up in dispatch board and the air cards were bought. The county was going to buy 2 air cards for each county vehicle, and they were going to buy above and beyond. Is that correct?
That is correct. We were going to pick up for the 2 computers that the county supplied. Anything above that was going to be billed back to the departments. And since that was kind of a work in progress type of thing on how that was going to end up working out, and got real late in the year on it, it's going to be coming out of their subsidy checks.
Subsidy.
And we've been deducting out for, as an example, Pecan Plantation, their EMS vehicles, which are not part of the fire department. Chief Raffa said go and deduct out of that, and then he'll internally bill back and forth on that. So that's, once we get this straightened out, then we'll get back to deducting out the subsidy and actually working the way it's supposed to be working.
When I went through the bills, though, life-hand marshals on there, and that's not you, that's the sheriff, but life-hand marshals on there, there's 4 ambulances on there. That's not my budget.
Right, and like I said, I know with the Pecan EMS, we've been deducting out of their subsidy. I don't know about Texas.
Where's that money going? I mean, are they cutting us a check? We're taking out the subsidy. Are we taking, I mean, what are you doing with that money? Are you aware of it? Is the Treasury Department aware of it? That's what I'm asking. That's, this happened with AT&T cards, and that's why we cut them off and started with another company. But now we've got, I can't make heads or tails out of this bill.
Right.
And I know you can't either. You were in mine in another commissioner's office Friday, but, it's $3,100 a month.
Understand.
Just our cards.
Commissioner, I believe the treasurer is sending a separate bill to Texas EMS for the airlines. I believe a separate bill is being sent to the Tober Police Department here. They have been reducing the subsidy from Pecan Plantation Volunteer Fire Department by the amount of the airlines. But it's not totally recovered. We've got some more work to do, and I need to just get you a complete report so you know where we stand, and then see where we go from there.
So as of tonight, if we pay this bill, though, you're taking out of Budget 409, which is non-departmental.
That is the way it's scheduled, yes, sir.
You have any money to get anywhere else, Brian, out of your budget?
No, sir, that was because of some of the way this has been done, that's completely tapped out our account. Both the fire marshal and the fire protection budget. There should have been ample funds to get them through the rest of the year on it. But I went back and looked at it, and apparently there's been a couple times where we've paid the entire county bill out of that, and so I think we're tapped out on both of our accounts right now.
Well,
We've got a couple $100 that we'll.
when you recover that, when we figure this out and we recover that payment, will it go back to 409 or go to general fund?
Well, yes, it will go back to 409.
Okay.
There's another thing that we noticed on the bills, and that is there are maybe a dozen lines that show no activity. We're still being billed for them. And that may be something that Jackie could address. But
That was on the June bill, but the July bill, Jackie's gone through and deactivated a bunch of, anything that showed no activity on, he's been deactivated. And if somebody calls screaming, then we know where it belongs. But there were some cards that we're not exactly sure. They got transferred between departments and stuff like that. So Jackie can speak more on that. But those lines are getting deactivated.
The next question becomes, once this is reconciled, Stan and Fire Marshal too, do you have a way to avoid this happening in the future?
yes,
Because they're going to just keep billing us for air cards, so are we going to have a mechanism whereby we're being back charged to the right places?
Just for history, we did the air card deal because we got a better government rate by doing them all, and that's why it was that way. But where the ball was dropped is not billing them out to the 9 departments. And I saw Deanne shake her head from the treasurer's office at the 4 ambulances, and I believe the fire or the marshal at Live Penn's being billed, or the Toller PD, right?
And I have received yesterday payments reimbursed.
Okay.
And they're caught up on their payment that you're billing? That's another thing. You bill them, but that ain't necessarily.
Well, I mean, my only concern is it's 3,012, 12 months is $36,000, and we're looking for every nickel and dime right now. And it shouldn't fall on Stan alone to figure this out. He's got the budget to prepare in the next month and a half. So, some of us helped him get in that position is what I'm saying. I mean, it was all grand and great when we unwrapped the presents. Now we need to figure out how to keep the presents running.
What I've been working with was whenever this was first initially done, everything was AT&T. One of the reasons was that the cards would get shuffled around from place to place. For the most part, we have went out and identified where every card is located, unless we're just not there whenever something's switched out. But pretty much now, the county, everyone knows that they leave that card where it is located so that we can tie it to a vehicle or to a person. And we have done that in the Verizon accounting system, with the exception of just a few that still do show activity, and we delayed on shutting those down and so that it would not cause a problem with someone responding to a call or something of that nature, so that we can actually be right there to turn it back on if they identify what that system is, and that we can identify that. We do turn them off, and we've been trying to track these down. And going forward, I think one of the questions was asked about where do we go from here, and offered to, Commissioner Simpson and I discussed this a little, that possibly that this come under IT's umbrella to oversee these cards. Most of them come to us now when there's a replacement, but we do not have that many replacements happening right now. We did for a little while, we had some replacements happening, but after we've kind of transitioned, we don't see that a lot, and this has just kind of been out there on its own. So maybe it's best that it come under that where we can track these. If one's not accounted for, we will shut it down and just take it offline until we hear something from someone that can take it under their accounting part.
Well, what really brought this to boil was the purchasing agent. When the VPN came up, who was going to pay for the VPN, we had three people pointing fingers in every direction wanting somebody else to pay that bill. And then as we dug deeper, we found the Verizon bill, and it was, so, I mean, we need to have a workshop, or y'all need to get together and come back so we know what, I mean, I want to make sure the money is accounted for. We agreed to pay for the 2 county trucks that we own, but, you know, some of those some departments have 4 and 5 air cards.
That's correct.
And they've agreed to pick up anything beyond what the county's going to pay. They've agreed to pick up on that.
I just want to see that implemented. That's all I'm asking, okay? And
Yeah, once we get down to supplying only the 2 that we said we would for each department, it should be a pretty easy process. That's all we pay.
Well, Judge in court,
We've got it accounted for by device, by not only device, by what device is assigned to what equipment, is assigned to what department. So we know what they're supposed to be getting billed monthly.
Right.
What had happened was because it kind of was haywire for a little bit, and we had a telecommunications budget that was originally designed to pay for air cards, and money hadn't been taken out of it. We said, okay, until we get it sorted out, we'll pay for it out of 543-420, and then we can get everything sorted out. Well, then that kind of got haywire in some way, shape, or form too, to where that account got paid, like I said, paid the entire monthly bill for the county versus just the 9 departments, or actually 8 departments, because the city of Granbury pays for their own.
Well, then what about the bill of $528? Is that the motion detectors for the brush trucks? Did we ever figure that out, Jackie?
They have, I've got a call in, they're researching that, Commissioner, to find that and give me back the actual account for that. I had an email this afternoon that said that they are looking for that, to give me the account number for that, to show us where that's coming from.
And that's another item the departments agreed to pay for out of their pocket.
Are there allotments?
$10 or whatever per device.
Okay.
Well, I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington to pay the bills with the exception of the shirts for JP 1 and 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who did that? Okay, seconded by Commissioner Rowan. Any discussion? Then all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you very much, Stan.
Thank you.
I believe next is item C, miscellaneous tax assessor collector. Consider request by tax assessor collector for the county judge to sign amendment to existing lease agreement with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles for lease equipment for the new HEB store and take appropriate action.
Good evening, Judge and Commissioners. Whenever we have a subcontractor like the Kroger store or the new HEB to do vehicle registration renewals from us, the county has to enter the contract with DMV for the equipment, and then we enter our separate contract with the store, with the merchant, for that equipment. So we have to amend our lease with DMV to add the equipment that's necessary for the new HEB store to process these renewals. And then we have a contract also here. The next item on the agenda is our contract with the HEB store for them to pay for that equipment and buy their bond and everything that they need to get into place to be able to do these renewals for us. HEB stores in other counties do these, and they wanted to get on board with the new store and try to have that equipment ready by the time they open that first part of September. So we're just trying to get a jump start on this and get everything approved so that the equipment will be here by the time they open the store.
Is that going to cost the county money to do this?
No, sir. There is a $600 fee, and the state won't charge us that until the store is up and operational and the equipment's installed, and then HEB has agreed in their contract to pay for that equipment lease. So they will pay us, and we'll pay the state.
It looks to me like we've got a tax office out at Acton. If we're going to have one at HEB, we won't be needing that in Acton anymore, will we?
Well, I don't know about that. We have to
Well.
transfer titles out there. Stores can't do that.
You got what?
They can't
transfer
transfer titles or anything. All they can do at the store is renew registration stickers.
So I'm looking at a bill here for $2,500 for the first time setup, $600 hard line and so forth, and you're telling me the first agreement is with the county and the second is HEB's agreement to reimburse us.
The individual item cost column, that $2,500, that is not anything that we pay. If that equipment comes up damaged or lost or stolen, they itemize those prices in case we have to pay for that equipment. But the HEB store in their agreement agrees to pay for that equipment if it's, lost, damaged, stolen, or whatever. So the state has itemized that $2,500 worth of equipment. The lease on that equipment is $600, which HEB will pay.
Motion to approve.
Just give us those individual price
Second.
breakdowns.
We have a motion made by Commissioner Berry and seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to approve item A under 1.
Why can't we do these together?
Well, they really, one's no good without the other, so.
Right, that's what I'm saying, why can't?
Make a motion that we approve item A and B for the tax assessor
Second.
to allow the judge to sign the contract and pass it on to HEB.
Okay, then I have a motion made by Commissioner Berry and seconded by Commissioner Roan to approve items A and B under miscellaneous, and this is for the county judge to sign the agreements. Any discussion? And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
This way, if the agreement's screwed up, it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. All right, purchasing, I believe. Thank you, Teresa. To consider and take appropriate action to award RFQ 2011-014 engineering services for the Crescent Granbury 377 project contract.
Good evening, Judge and Commissioners. An evaluation team was selected to review, score, and make suggestion for award of this RFQ. The evaluation team was comprised of Bob Blessing, Personnel Risk Management, Stan McBroom, County Auditor, Donald Linney, Hood County Road Operations Director, and James McCausland, the Director of Health. Each proposal was evaluated and scored individually by each member of the evaluation team. These scores were sent individually to purchasing and tallied. The vendor receiving the highest score has been selected. It is the recommendation of the purchasing department, in accordance with the scoring of the evaluation, to award the contract to Tignall and Perkins, contingent on future final acceptance by Hood County of Tignall and Perkins professional services contract.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion made by Commissioner Berry and seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to approve the engineering services for Tignall and Perkins. Is that the motion? Okay. Any discussion? And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill, too. Wherever Bill, oh yeah. Would you like to say something, Bill, real quick? Since you drove all the way from Fort Worth to...
Basically, we do appreciate the confidence shown in our company to develop this project for you, and we're committing the full resources of our staff. We have 100-plus engineers and technicians with skills and abilities to develop these type of projects, and it's our goal to deliver this in the fastest time, best value possible for Hood County.
Okay, thank you very much. Item B is consider and take appropriate action to approve software maintenance agreement and payment to Net Motion.
I have a handout for you guys.
What are we, what's it going to cost us?
Good golly, that's a lot of information.
$15.
Just 1 hour.
Would you say you make a motion?
Bill to you, as you all are aware by now. No one really apparently has the budget to pay this. Jackie and I have been in discussions about this bill, trying to figure out what direction the county might want to take. We have an option to renew this for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Your greatest savings will be with the 3-year contract. However, if there are not funds available, we can always go for the 1 year. The handout that I have given you is a breakdown Jackie actually put together. It involves about 100 licenses. That's what they charge for, right off the bat. Each license, you can divide it by 100, can be individually figured. Like if you go do the 1 year, it's going to be $61.41 for a license. But they're going to be about, 10 licenses? There'll be 10 that we don't currently use that we will have to pay for. So if you should decide to do this by department, they need to be aware of that. You know, that they will be responsible, and maybe in the next year, if you want to do it for just 1 year, we can revisit this next year, and they can take it upon themselves to do it. It's kind of at your discretion. Jackie and I have talked a lot about it. He's got some ideas.
Well, a couple of the things. We went through a review. Number one, just the amount of licenses that we're using. You have to purchase the licenses in a bundle. So we have up to 100 simultaneous connections available to us. Sometimes there's confusion about what each one of these devices or software packages does. And the long and short of the NetMotion software is that it is the security gateway to the Spillman system from our mobile users. So anytime we have a device in the field, whether it's at a fire station or in a unit, a fire unit or one of our PD units or Hood County Sheriff's Office, this is the device that secures the connection between that mobile unit and Hood County Department, the Sheriff's Department where this resides right now. We do not use all 100 of these currently, so we do have a little bit of room to grow. So Nelda and I discussed this, and I did make a couple of phone calls and just tried to find out what is the industry doing right now. How are people doing security, and if they're billing out to someone like fire departments or people that access their network. And for the most part, they take the cost of the security access gateway on themselves, because that is something that we control. It's ours. We own it. We own the software. We own the license to it as the county. We can revoke that at any time and deny access to the county Spillman system via this. So that's one of the things that kind of came up in my findings, was that as a standard rule, the company pays for this themselves and manages this. We do have the 3 options, the 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year. I fully believe that we will be with NetMotion for at least 3 years, and it does save approximately or right up close to $4,000 by doing that. But that is here, and I'm leaving that to your discretion. And also, I would ask that in our new budget hearings that we come into, that this be placed under the umbrella of IT, so that we can manage that. I've had a discussion with Joe Phillips already and the sheriff about this a little bit, that we can move this system house it and manage the cost of this, whether it's on a yearly or once every 3 years basis.
Is there any discussion? Does everybody understand this?
Yeah, it's the same as air cards.
Just like our card, just costs money. That's what it sounded to me like.
Well, I think it's
You got to have it.
a license for each air card, in a way, right?
Each device that connects to us.
Right. And I think that option number 1 is, if you chose, you like you said, it's $4,000. If you chose option 3, it's like $8,000, and so it's a big savings if you go on a 3-year deal.
We're back to the same thing. Though. We got some EMS that are using, and we're paying, and some medics and different deals on here, haven't we?
Well,
That's right, Commissioner. That's where, that whenever I called and checked around, what is happening right now is that whoever is the gateway, so in other words, since it's our NetMotion system, That company usually maintains all the licensing. They don't bill someone for that license as a customary. Now, that doesn't mean that Hood County has to operate like that, but that's customary because that company, in this case, Hood County, Texas, is in control of that security device. We maintain the lock and key on that to say, you no longer have access to the county resource. You're turned off. We deny you access. And the software is really no good without that. All it is access, but it's a government-mandated security.
But Jackie, isn't this exactly like the air card? If this is part of the air card in a way.
It's part of accessing the Spillman system. It secures the Spillman system from remote access.
So if
Well, actually, and I'll tell you this, Judge, and yes and no, because some of the fire stations have a PC that sits on their desk that controls a printer that prints out items whenever they come on. That system does not have anything to do with an air card in some of these areas. It's tied into whatever internet service they have, but it allows us to secure that link and that we control that security on that link.
I don't see the city of Granbury on this list.
They do not. They have their own NetMotion server that they maintain their own licenses for. County and city are separate. They have theirs for their side, we have ours for our side. Same type system though.
We had a lengthy discussion, Jackie and I, about this because I didn't understand it either. But what turned on the light was the fact that this is a security system to stop people from infiltrating back into our network. And so that in itself is, in my mind, explainable to some degree.
But he has 100 cards, Commissioner. So and the way I understand it, when we go over 100 cards and he needs more, when the sheriff gets more cars or we get more cars and add to the fleet, it costs the county budget more money. Once we go over that 100, he has 10 left right now. He's saying, okay. So
and these 100 are $60 a piece?
I mean,
For the 1 year.
For 1 year, they're $60 a piece?
100 license, basically.
Yeah. It's
For each one?
No. Well, the 100, you buy them in bulk.
Yeah, you buy them in bulk. If you break it down by each, it's $61.41.
That's right, so that bulk's going to be $60,000?
No.
Well, if you buy another 100, but you don't have to buy another 100.
No, but the same thing what I'm saying is, we only have 10 left. You're buying 5 or 6 right here for Hood County EMS. I mean, this will sound crude and rude, but I don't buy their cots for them. I mean...
True. But they respond when you call them, and you call them through Spillman.
So does Granbury PD.
Yeah, Judge and Commissioners, this is, they have their motion agreement, we have our motion agreement. This is the security for Hood County's information that goes out, whether it's Hood County EMS or a fire truck or a patrol car. We're protecting our information, so we're charging for the air cards at Hood County EMS, but this is protecting our information. This is allowing Jackie to protect it coming and going. And
our servers.
Protect our servers, protect our information, so that nobody can get in there if we don't want them to get in there. So we can charge for that other stuff, but this is really what protects us, our equipment, our server, our information.
And our liability.
And our liability if that information gets out there. So it's kind of the same, but kind of different. It's there for our protection.
Okay, where are you going to get the money? I mean, that's what the whole question was to start with. Is it coming out of the sheriff's budget since he has dispatch, or is it coming out of Jackie's budget?
Speaking.
Don't everybody talk at once.
I agree with what Jackie has said. And he's the keeper of the information, keeper of the computerized information and all that. So it makes sense for him to organize, control, house it.
And pay for it.
And pay for it. That's slick, Sheriff.
Well, the problem, what it boils down to is, you can give him the money or give me the money, and we'll pay it, we're out of whatever pocket you want to pay it in, or out of. So
Well, you know, it's what Steve said, though. We are out of money. We're going to have to make some severe cuts, and if we approve this, then the money's got to come from somebody's budget somewhere.
And the other decision is which one?
Yeah, well, it really doesn't make any difference. Seriously, I don't care whose line item budget it goes
Which
in.
option?
Which option?
Yeah, well, I
Number three
agree
is the
with
best
one.
option. Which
Huh?
one? Well, you're getting a better deal going 3 years, and we've invested.
3 years, you'll save.
That's right,
not
option
5,
one.
Almost 4. Number
Option 3 is the best.
3 is the best. It's saving almost $4,000.
You don't have any money, none of the options are any good.
Well, if you don't have any money, go for the big
same
one.
one I
I
am?
don't think we are.
I don't think you are.
I have this thing here, it says option 1 is 6,141.
That's a year. That's a year.
That's a year. This is per year.
So it's better to pay 14,000 than it is 6,000?
For 3 years.
Yeah, because if you play 3 sixes, it's 18. You pay it for 3 years in advance, it's 14.
I thought this was the price per year.
It is. If you buy it for
But
1
if you
year
buy
at a
it for
time.
3 years, you get a bargain.
If you buy 3 years.
Is that the total cost, 14,000 for 3 years?
Yes.
I didn't understand it that way.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you have to pay it all at once? You know, everybody's laughing at it. It's funny, but it is deadly serious. I mean, this could cost somebody their job. You know, and I'm serious. I don't think it's funny. I really don't. And I've been sweating over this. Stan's been sweating over it. And I've been passing it out to the commissioners. And they've been going through it. And, you know, but